Hello there! Welcome to We Are Crafted in His Image. I'm here today with a 3D Thursday. We're going to make a little gift bag. And isn't this such a cool technique? It looks like neon gel pen on the black cardstock, but it is not. And I'm going to show you how to do that and also how to put together this little gift bag. So let me put my camera into manual focus so it doesn't go in and out on us, and let's go ahead and figure out how to make this really pretty little bag. So we are going to start out first with a little bit of stamping. Now I have actually already stamped this part and embossed it with white embossing powder, and I'm going to show you how to do that with the flowers in case you have not embossed before. It's pretty simple, it's kind of fun. I always say it's like magic. It really is. It's really fun. It's really fun when you're doing it with silver or gold, but we're going to do it with white today. And what you need for that is you need some Versamark ink, which is a clear, sticky ink. I want to check something before I do this to make sure. Yes, okay, make sure I remember which way to actually, which I could just follow that, huh? That would work. Which way to stamp it on there. Oh wait, before I do that, one little tip. You want to use, this is called an embossing buddy, and as you can see it's got like powder in it, and you want to rub that on your paper and it takes the static out. It also will remove any oils that might be on there from your fingers. And then what I like to do is just take my embossing powder and just put it on there and just see that all of it is going to actually disappear. Okay, sometimes if you have, I don't know, if I have my finger here, you'll be able to see it on this one. Yep. See those that don't want to come off? Can you see that? That's from the oils in my hands, and if I didn't do this step here beforehand, you can see none of that is left here. You'll end up with these in areas that you don't want, and they're really hard to get off later. So the embossing buddy is really good for that. And now I know this area is good, I'm going to go ahead and stamp it. So, get me some of my Versamark ink, stamp my flowers. And you can't see that on there, can you? Because it is a clear ink. But it's very sticky, so that this powder will then stick on it. Put that down on there, tap it, and I do have one little spot right here, so I always keep a little brush with me that had, for some reason, had a little dot there. There we go. And now it's going to get a little loud. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put this away, otherwise I will end up spilling later, and I don't want to do that. Now I'm going to have to turn on my heat tool, and we're going to melt that powder. So it's going to get a little loud. Sorry. And I know you won't be able to see this in the video. I'm sure it's not going to show up. But as you heat it, it changes from a powder, it melts, and it gets solid. And here it's starting to melt. You do want to keep your fingers away. The heat tool gets very hot. It will burn. Almost done. One more flower. And there we go. Okay, turn that off. And that is ready to go. And now, as you can see here, we have white images on black cardstock. But here we have colored images. So how am I going to do that? Easy peasy. We are going to come in and color with our blends. Now, this technique works really well. It actually really only works on really dark paper. You could do this on Night of Navy, probably Cherry Cobbler, I think. I just really like it on the black. So all I'm going to do, and the reason I like it on the black, you could probably do this on a lighter color, but you would have to be super careful, and you'd have to like really make sure you don't go off of the white, off of your embossing at all. However, since I'm doing it on this black, I don't have to be super careful. I can just come in here and just color this in, because the stuff that goes over the edges is not going to show. And just color those leaves in. Get all of this on here. Isn't this pretty? It just, all of a sudden, there's just really, I like the white on the black. The white on the black is pretty too, but the color, it just pops up. It almost looks like it's glowing. Now let's see, we're going to use this blue. Let's see, this was Grand Apple Green, the dark one. Then we're going to use light shaded spruce on these little feathery leaves. I'm trying to do this quickly for you. A little bit of pumpkin pie for all these little dots. I tried to pick some of the more vibrant colors to use that would show up against the black. There we go. And then on our flowers, I'm going to use this tip so I can have a little more control over the size. So I think I just want the center. And this one I'm going to bring out. I think I did all of that middle sections with the yellow. There we go. And dark flirty flamingo. Color those in. Then we will put our bag together. Isn't this cool? I think this would be cool. If you had, you know, if you like to sit and watch TV, you could do like a whole sheet of paper and make a full pattern, you know, like a background sheet rather than just your main focal point. And just sit there and color while you watch TV. That would just be fun. Almost done. There we go. And there are our colors. So now I'm going to punch out my flowers here, and then the stamping is all done. And then we'll put our bag together. Ta-da! They go flying everywhere. So let's move these out of the way. Pull in our sheet of cardstock, which is 6 by 11. And of course, as usual, all the measurements are going to be over on the blog post, and you will find a link to it at the bottom of this video. I am going to score this at, let's see, my first score line is 3.5 inches. Oh, I'm going to have to pull this out. Okay, so 3.5 inches. And then 5.25 inches. 8.75 inches. And then 10.5. And then I'm going to turn it on this side, and I'm just going to do a 1.75 inch score. There we go. We have all of our scores done. And now I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of trimming. I still have some bits of my powder on here. And this little rectangle here, I don't know if you can see it very well. I'm going to go, rather than straight on the line, I'm going to go slightly off. And then on these two here, I'm going to go angled as well, but a little more angled than on the bottom. It's just like that. And then these, you can see the score line is here, and I'm going to go just slightly on either side of that score line, starting it a little wider at the bottom and going to a point at the top. I'm going to do that on all, I'm going to bend this so you guys can see, maybe you can see those better, on all of these. And I'm just going up to that 1.75 score line. This actually helps when you're folding up your bag on the bottom. And I'm going to do one little, just trim off a little bit off of this edge right here. So there we have our piece ready to go. Let's do a little bit of assembling. First thing I'm going to do is punch some holes. I'm just going to use a regular hole punch. And I'm going to come in here and mark about 1 inch in on either side. I'm going to do that on this side as well. See, 1 inch, 2, 3, 4, there it is. Okay, and then there it is. I'm just going to eyeball where I punch it as far as it going down. So it's about the same. If you want to, you can measure how far down you take it as well so that it's perfectly even, but I'm not too concerned about that. So there is that. And before I actually assemble, because this panel is actually going to cover up those holes and the ribbon's going to be underneath that front piece, actually on this one, I'm going to go ahead and do my ribbon first. So I currently do not have any of the, sorry, I'm looking for a scrap piece of paper here. I currently do not have any of the current ribbons in the catalog, but I do have some of the retired white ribbon. And what I am going to do, love my scrap piece here, is I'm going to take two 10-inch pieces and I am going to make them coordinate with my bag simply by coloring them with that Flirty Flamingo blend that I did my coloring with. So grab my blends, and this will work on pretty much any white ribbon or even an ivory colored ribbon, any of the lighter colored ones. You can take even our Stampin' Write markers if you don't have the blends. I like the blends because they dry faster. The alcohol will evaporate very quickly. And you just color it any color you want. And since I like the Flirty Flamingo of my flowers, I'm going to let those dry for a second while I do this one, and then I'll do the other end. That way I don't get it all over my fingers. Color that in. Ooh, ooh. Okay, this one's dry. And this one didn't even matter which side you color it on either, because it goes right through. There we go. So I have two 10-inch pieces of ribbon, and I'm going to go ahead and tie them through here. Let's see, I think there we go. Let me get this out of the way. And to tie it, I want to make sure this part is straight. And then I'm going to hold these together, and I'm simply going to tie a knot. I like this particular ribbon because it's very thin and the knot ends up being very small. Now if you have thick ribbon, you don't have to tie it together. You could actually just thread it through and tie a knot on each end. But because this is so tiny, the knots would just slide right through that. So that wouldn't work. However, you could always tie it, you know, like around the top of it. But this works this way. Alright, make sure that's flat. Tie this together, and then we'll just need a couple pieces of, actually we're going to go ahead and put the main piece on before we fold, before we put our bag together. There we go. Okay, handles are on. And now this panel here is the panel that I want as my front. That way where this seam is going to end up being in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some Stampin' Seal. Pull that up. Because this is a bag, I'm going to put a little more adhesive than I normally do because this isn't going to be just like laying flat all the time. So I want to make sure it's well adhered. Make sure my ribbon is up there. There we go. Now where did my black piece? There it is. Go ahead and put this on. Center that. Alright, so that's all ready to go. I'm not going to put the flowers on until after I put my bag together because I'm going to glue those on. And I'm just going to fold, Go ahead and fold these while I have it before I put it together. And then right here, we're going to run some tear and tape. And you do want to make sure, I've said this, usually when I do these, I want to make sure you know, make sure you put your adhesive all the way up against that crease line. That way when you put your bag together, it doesn't start pulling apart right there. Okay, so easiest way to do this is fold that flap over, fold this flap over, and make sure they're lined up. Okay, then fold in your two sides, your back. That's going to be the front. I'm going to put another piece of tear and tape on there. There we go. And ta-da! Put your hand in, press, make sure that's got good adhesion. Okay, now for our flowers, if I can find where they went. There they are. I'm going to give them a little bit of shape just by curling them up in my hand, like that. So they pop out a little. This is another reason why I'm doing it now and not when it was before I put it together. That way they didn't get flattened in the process. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of each one. And lay them on here. So our big one goes right there in the middle. Then the medium-sized one I'm going to put down here. And then the larger one. And then we'll just let that sit and dry. And our little bag is finished. What do you think? I love it. I did this one opposite of that one. Haha! Just realized that. And they're backwards. That's okay. This bouquet can go either direction. So, what do you think? Did you like this 3D Thursday that we have? I love this technique. I was going to put it as a Technique Tuesday, but I didn't even know what to call it because it's like embossed, blends, coloring, I don't know. But I love how it turned out, and I hope you did too. And until next time, God's love and blessings to you. Bye!